Yes. Yeah. Morning all. So myself, I'm Vijay. Like I hold 20 plus years of experience in different technologies. So before I start, can anyone please confirm whether my voice is clear, whether the screen is visible or not, right?
Yeah, your voice and screen both are clear.
Thank you. So yes. So why data engineer? Why data engineer? A role of a data engineer. Yes. Data, Azure data engineering, products or services. What are the different products or services available for this data engineering? One by one in brief, and current job market of it. Data engineer. Talking about this cloud, it is majorly utilized for storing, analyzing, and delivering data in various forms. So I'll be giving you the knowledge on this cloud environment, how we are going to store the data, analyzing, delivering the data in different format. So yes, how we store the input and taking the input from this cloud storages and writing the input to this cloud. So data engineer with the help of cloud services, right? Work on the data, right? Yes. And make it structured and useful. See, talking about talking about this on premises, right? Advantages of cloud over this on premises databases, right? If I talk about the on premises as compared with cloud, see, here in the case of on premises, we need to set up our own hardware infrastructure, and on top of that OS installation, purchasing database license, installation of database server, right? Designing database objects, designing database objects. So here we need to set up our own hardware infrastructure if you go with on-premises OS installation and purchasing the database license, and also like installation of a database server and designing database objects. To maintain all this, right? Yes. We require separate teams. We require separate teams. Like for this hardware team is required, operating system team, networking team, security team, yes. Finally, database administrator is required. Database administrators. But here in the cloud, everything in the but here everything in cloud. We no need to maintain all this. We no need to maintain all this. No need to maintain any infrastructure. No need to maintain any infrastructure. No need of any licenses. No need of all these things, right? Separate teams. So everything in the cloud. As I said, data engineers with the help of these cloud services make the data structured and useful. So, so before I go further, right? So difference between, okay, data engineer. Responsible for smooth data flow, from source to destination. Is responsible for smooth data flow from source to destination, right? So data engineer, right? Yes. Responsible for preparing the data, cleansing data, filtering data, or transforming data, processing the data. Okay, most of them will be asking difference between a data engineer, a data scientist, and analyst, right? Yes, difference between this data engineer, data scientist, and analyst, the responsibilities, right? Just 2 minutes, like data scientist, data analyst, and data scientist, right? Is strategizes for the future. Strategizes for the future. Going to analyze the data. Analyze the data. Okay, I'll come back. Strategies for the future. Data analyst summarizes the past. Data analyst summarizes the past. So data scientist analyze the data, identify the patterns, recommendations for the future. The recommendations for the future. And if you come to this data analyst, summarizes the past, he also analyzes the data. Analyze the data. Visualize the data. Data engineer does all the groundwork. For data scientist and analyst. He does all the groundwork. Is data engineer does all the groundwork. Data scientist and analyst. See, nearly 80%, right? If I say more than 80% data analysis. More than 80% of the data analysis work is done by data engineers. So generally, data engineering involves what are the sources of the data? What are the sources from where you are going to extract? What are the sources of the data? What is the format of the data? Everything deals with the data. Data has got experience. Data has got future reference. Using this data, right? You perform different operations. How to transform data? How to transform data? And what is the destination of the data? What is the destination of the data, right? Yes. So now coming to this, why Azure Data Engineer? Why Azure Data Engineer? And that too, why Azure Data Engineer in demand today? Why Azure Data Engineer and why Azure Data Engineer in demand today, right? So for example, check this, an organization, check this is an organization. It wants to increase the business revenue by utilizing customer behavioral data on its website. So this organization uses Azure for its operation. So it is mainly going to hire two people first. It is going to hire two people, Azure data engineer, and secondly, a data scientist. A data scientist. Azure, this data engineer creates a data warehouse. Is going to create a data warehouse for the organization. A data warehouse, right? It is a storage of structured and queryable data. It is a storage of structured and queryable data. It contains data from various sources, various resources such as user logs, clicks, existing customer data. Data engineer is going to structure this data, stores it, and monitors it in this data warehouse. Secondly, the data engineer is going to communicate with the data scientist about the data requirement and understand that what is the format of the data, and also communicates with the business team to know the business requirements of the organization. He also keeps in mind the business needs while dealing with the data in hand, right? Yes. Data scientist is going to analyze, create insights from the processed data. Okay. Later, the data scientist is going to analyze this data. It's going to create insights from the processed data of data engineer. So the later the business team, they require some dashboards for visualizations of the key insights, helping them to read the data insights easily. This Azure data engineer keep constantly processing. It's going to keep constantly processing, analyzing, and monitoring the data. This Azure data engineer is going to create some pipelines, data pipeline, through which the data is integrated with all the crucial stages of the data. Is going to create some data pipelines. He also makes sure that this pipeline is always efficient and also secure. This is the primary role of a data engineer, right? Creating data warehouse, storing the data in structured format, creating data pipelines, right? We talk the different other roles of Azure data engineer, roles of Azure data engineer, right? Yes. Role of Azure data engineer, first one. Designing entire data flow architecture. Designing entire data flow architecture. Second thing, creating data warehouse. Data warehouse for storage of analytical data. Thirdly, the main thing, ETL, performs ETL, right? Extract, transform, load. Extract, transform, load. It is one of the key tasks of data engineer, right? He need to extract data from multiple sources, transform it into structured or queryable data, and then loads the data into this company. Loads into the company storage service for the further business evaluations by the data scientist. So extract, transform, and load. That is one of the key tasks of data engineering. And also like data monitoring. Data monitoring. Data monitoring means data engineers should make sure that the ETL is performed in a proper way and the data is available everywhere required. Also, like next is like data security. Data security. Data security, right? Yes. Ensuring data security is also a major responsibility of data engineer. Data security is also a major responsibility of data engineers. The data need to be secure. The data need to be secure at each step of the process without any data leaks or data exposure, right? Yes. And also, this responsibility includes collaboration and communication. You will be constantly communicating with the business team to check that team needs what the data requirement or insights, collaborating with data scientists to delivering the data as per the requirements. Yes. Also, you need to have some analytic skills. So analyzing the data, transforming it into structure and useful formats, you need to have strong analytical skills to perform this kind of analysis. Certain things, automation, right? Certain things need to be automated, like which requires minimal human interventions, such as extraction process, data extraction process. So mainly designing entire data flow architecture of the data, entire like creating data warehouse and performing ETL. The first three are the main things, right? He does performing ETL, creating data warehouse, designing entire data flow architecture. And the remaining also includes data monitoring. Yes, data monitoring, right? Whether that ETL is performed in a proper way and checking that whether data is available everywhere where it is required, data security, right? And collaboration, communication with the data scientist and this business team. And some analytics, you need to have the knowledge in analytics, perform analysis, and automation. Okay. Now, Azure data engineering products or services. Azure data engineering, right? Products. First one, like Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake, Azure Synapse Analytics, Azure Synapse is Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, Azure Cosmos DB, Azure Streaming, Azure Key Vault, right? See, Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake, Azure Synapse, Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, Azure Cosmos DB, right? Azure Streaming, Azure Key Vault. If you are as a ADF developer, a Databricks developer, right? And a data engineer, you are going to communicate, interact with these services, right? Yes. Azure SQL. Azure SQL. Simply, I can say it is a cloud RDBMS. It is a cloud RDBMS, Relational Database Management System, database of Microsoft in Azure, right? Yes. It is a cloud RDBMS database of Microsoft in Azure. It is for OLTP operations. It is for OLTP, online transactional processing, transaction processing, right? It is for OLTP operations. OLTP is going to capture the end user transactions. It is not for data warehouse, right? Yes. Azure Data Lake. Azure Data Lake. We say ADLS. Azure Data Lake Storage. You can say like some distributed file system. Distributed file system with unlimited data storage in cloud. That is what data lake. See, if you see Hadoop distributed file system, if you have knowledge on big data, right? HDFS for on-premises, HDFS on-premise distributed file system. Azure Data Lake, right? Yes. Cloud DFS. It is what? Cloud distributed file system, right? Yes. I can say it is a repository. A repository. Which one? Data lake. It is a repository of large varieties. Large varieties of structured, unstructured, and semi-structured. We talk about this Azure Data Factory. Azure Data Factory, ADF. In a simple way, it is a cloud ETL. It is a cloud ETL or it is a cloud-based ETL. Cloud-based ETL. Extract, transforming, and loading of Microsoft in Azure. ADF is a data integration service. Data integration service. It integrates both the OLTP systems and data warehouse systems. That's why we call it as data integration service. The cloud-based ETL. It's a zero coding ETL tool, right? Everything we are going to perform drag and drop for different transformations to perform. Raw data coming from one side, process data coming from other side, right? Transformed as per the destination. This combined, okay, from this multiple sources, you get the data, reformat it into analytical models, and save these models for querying, visualizing, and reporting. So if you see in ADF, we are going to extract data from different sources like sensors, IoT, logs, media, files, business applications, custom applications, right? Yes. The ADF is going to extract and store the data in data lake. And later from data lake, ADB Azure Databricks, we can take the data and performs the processing and later querying the data. Azure Databricks. Simply, you can say like it is Apache Spark based, data analytics platform, So as part of the course, I'm also going to discuss this Spark, total knowledge on this Spark I'm going to provide to Python knowledge, to Python language, right? There's a Apache Spark based data analytics platform. Yes. It brings the data science, data engineering, and the business together, right? Makes the process of data analytics more productive. So later I'll discuss in brief about, but it is Apache Spark based. Spark is a very high speed processing technology, processing huge data in quick time. Yes, next. Azure Synapse. For data warehouse operations, for DWH, for data warehouse operations, for big data operations, generally for analytics, for batch processing. Batch processing and online processing. Online processing means user interactive applications. Batch, user non-interactive. User doesn't give any input. For online applications, user has to give the input. And also for parallel processing. Azure Streaming Analytics. Azure Streaming Analytics, right? Yes. for analyzing and processing high volumes of streaming data. High volumes of streaming data. And that too from multiple sources simultaneously. Cosmos DB, just like MongoDB, right? As Cosmos DB we got. Simply like it is a cloud-based. Yes, it is a cloud-based NoSQL database, we say. NoSQL database. NoSQL databases. We have got many NoSQL databases available, right? Like Graph Store, Columnar Store, Document Store, right? So in that, like React, Peanut, MongoDB, Cassandra, HBase, Neo4j, many NoSQL databases are there. Here we are expecting a cloud-based NoSQL database. That is what is Cosmos DB. NoSQL databases as compared with SQL databases, right? SQL. SQL and NoSQL. SQL means from first record to last record, same number of columns need to be maintained. But in the case of this NoSQL, query to query, right? It's different number of fields can be maintained. My first record with 3 fields, second record with 5 fields, third record with 10 fields, right? Any number of fields you can. Right. Cloud-based NoSQL database. Next.
So Vijay, where does Python come to picture out of all of this?
Okay, Python, okay, I said yeah, this ADF it doesn't require any coding at all. Generally, as part of this course, our major discussion will be on ADF data flows and the transformations using this Azure Data Factory. In that, no coding, zero coding, right? It's a zero coding ETL tool. So we doesn't require any coding part. But in Azure Databricks, I said Azure Databricks with the Spark that way by using Python implementation. We will be writing code here, Azure Databricks, customized code by using Python. So majorly our course will deal with Azure Data Factory, Azure Databricks, and Azure Synapse. For Azure Databricks and Azure Synapse, Python is required. First, we'll be discussing about Azure Data Factory. It goes for the first 1 month to 40 days, right? So we doesn't require any Python knowledge there.
Sir, so is it only possible to Python means Python with Spark or Java with Scala with also?
See here, currently we are going, see Spark using Python, Spark can be implemented in multiple languages like Scala language, Python language, Java language, or language, right?
Yeah, just
But
my question is it support only with the Python or any other language here?
so it supports with other languages also.
Okay, fine.
So it support multi-language support it has got. So, but in the industry today, mostly used is Python. Previously, Scala is used a lot. Scala is a scalable language, which is some extension to Java language, right?
Yeah,
So that was mostly preferred previously. That too, it is a native language of Spark actually, Scala. But in the industry today, like mostly Python is preferred because of its Python has got many modules, right?
module, otherwise performance it is slow. So I don't know due to module might.
Because of this multiple reasons are there, it has got great community modules, especially for this kind of analytics, right?
Yes, analytics is
It
giving.
has got a lot of modules for this Python, like NumPy, numerical Python, NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, and
Yeah.
also forget out about all those. It's mainly PySpark is there, right? PySpark is there. It is one of the package given by Python.
Yes.
The package of Python, right, where it has got thousands of functionalities, classes,
Yeah. So
models.
some lot of predefined I have no need to right.
That is the main thing, right? Yes. Yeah. So here, uh, for this Databricks and Azure Synapse Analytics, right? So this both require some basic Python knowledge, right? And Azure Data Factory, no coding involved here. Everything will perform drag and drop. We'll drag and drop all the different types of transformations. We'll drag it and use it. We'll create data flows. Internally, the data flows will be converted into Databricks jobs and are executed using Spark only. In this area also, whatever drag and drop you're doing, by the backend code will be generated in Azure Databricks that is executed by Spark. But we no need to write any code. Is that internally it converts and performs all that is its headache, right? In ADF, right? There is no coding involved. There is no, not going to write a single line of code, right? Everything performing this transformations by using inbuilt transformations available. In version ADF version 1, you need to have a lot of knowledge, other knowledges, lot of other things like stored procedures, on the Azure functions, and like HD insights. Many other knowledge is required. Tomorrow I'll discuss about it. In ADF version 1, we have all that knowledge, but in ADF version 2, it was made that much flexible, right? Where all the inbuilt transformations are available. What? Yes. And here Cosmos DB also, it's a NoSQL database. Record to record, different number of fields can be maintained. First record with 3 fields, second record with 5 fields, third record with 10 fields, right? In number, and that too, no schema here, schema-less behavior, right? And finally, right, Azure Key Vault. So yes, but as a ADF developer or a Databricks developer, I said you will be interacting with these services, right? Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake, right? I'll be providing the knowledge about this data lake, Azure SQL, all this. Key Vault,
So
Azure Key
you
Vault.
were only providing the knowledge or some hands-on also?
Total hands-on, everything practical oriented, nothing theory.
Okay.
Secure key management.
Sir, I have one concern here. In Azure keyword also, right? So AWS also having the cloud, right? So there maybe have something also, right?
Say, okay, whatever you are discussing this Databricks environment, you can use the clouds like AWS, Azure, right? We are going today in the industry also for data engineering. Azure is the mostly preferred one, and that too it is cheaper as compared with that AWS.
Okay.
Many other due to other reasons, right? Today for data engineering,
Mhm.
Azure is mostly preferred. Even you can do the things with the AWS also, right? But
Okay. But Azure is the cheapest, right? Yeah. Okay. But all the functionality, whatever this Azure have, is similar having the AWS.
whatever the Spark, the main execution weapon is a Spark. Spark is similar wherever you go, right? Whether if you go to on-premises or cloud premises, right? The Spark functionalities remains the same. Very high speed processing,
Yeah.
in-memory computation, massive parallel process, MPP. So everywhere in ADF or in Databricks, everywhere the Spark execution happens. In ADF, I said there is no, you are not writing the code, but at the backend code will be generated, executed by the Spark. Yes, to protect data in cloud. Secure key management, right? Secure key management, right, is essential to protect data in cloud. So here we will be keeping some small secrets, passwords, all this, right? Yes. So majorly these are the data engineering products or services, right? So main services, but as part of our course, mainly we deal with Azure Data Factory, in brief, in depth about this, and Azure Databricks and Azure Synapse Analytics, right? Yes. And apart from that, you'll be getting these total things like how, because compulsory you'll be storing the data in this Azure SQL, Azure Data Lake. If you have got tables in this Azure SQL, if you got files in Azure Data Lake, working with the files and working with the tables, and also like NoSQL, you'll be interacting with these things. You'll be getting the knowledge about all this, right? Yes. 1 second. Azure Data Engineering. First thing is like Azure Data Factory. I said There is no prerequisites for this Azure Data Factory. Anyone can update, right? Even as initially, if you want to go into the company, if you want to step into the company, right? As a ADF developer, you can go. As a Databricks developer, you can go. As a data engineer, right? But today, like Data Factory, okay, but Azure Databricks, like you can say, like it is a hot cake in the market. Azure Databricks with the PySpark, if you got the knowledge, right? Unlike other training sites, I don't know, like, but here I'll be giving the total brief knowledge about that Spark and Spark functionalities, data frames, Azure Databricks, PySpark. PySpark will be covered in brief. Azure Synapse. Apart from this, you'll be getting knowledge on this. Yes. Azure SQL, right? Azure Data Lake. Azure Cosmos DB. And also like performing streaming, Azure Streaming. You'll be interacting with this Azure SQL, Data Lake, Cosmos DB. Our major discussions will be on this. But okay, Azure Data Factory, Databricks, PySpark, Azure Synapse.
So Vijay, in this, as a part of this course, will you be also discussing any case study, like real
Yes.
life
Yes.
implementations that have
Yes,
happened?
yes, at the last.
Okay.
You can see this course content, right? In brief, in depth about this course content, right? Azure Data Factory, overview about all the Azure resources, Data Factory, Databricks, Key Vault, Azure Data Factory architecture, and its top level concepts like pipelines, activities, data sets, triggers, pipelines, creating a pipeline, new pipeline, organizing pipeline, debugging pipeline, publishing the pipelines parameters, linker services, right? Linker services. What is a linker service? Linker service for blob, for SQL database, for SQL server, for data lake, and data sets creations. What is data set? Creating data set for different file formats, right? Data sets creations for different file formats like Excel files, CSV files, JSON files, Parquet files, different file formats, activities, different types of activities, copy activity, copy data, and different get metadata, delete, execute, pipeline, validations, iterations like filter activity for each activity, if condition, switch until triggers, different types of triggers, schedule trigger, tumbling window trigger, storage event trigger, triggers with parameters, integration runtime, and this managing private endpoints, data flows, mapping data flow debug, transformations, different types of transformations, conditional split, derived column, exist, union. Yes, 1 second. Yeah, different types of transfer, exist, union, lookup, group by, pivot, flatten, filter, validating the schema, removing the duplicates, SCD type 1, type 2, right? And coming to after that, during this ADF discussion, lot of exercises, practicals, right? We'll be discussing practical scenarios, right? All this what we are going to discuss, right? Nearly 50 practicals. So this all these things, right? What we are going to discuss in the case of ADF. Different 50 exercises will be discussed on this. Tasks. Using all these inbuilt transformations, data flows, Power queries, right? And coming to this Databricks, before you go with Databricks, I'll be providing you the knowledge. You need to have some knowledge on this big data. I'll be providing with data Hadoop and some knowledge of Spark. Spark architecture, Spark internals, Spark RTDs, and also like cloud and Azure. And coming to this Azure Databricks, creating Databricks workspace, and creating, adding users in groups, creating clusters, notebooks and jobs, cluster management, displaying cluster, starting cluster, terminating a cluster, deleting a cluster, cluster information, cluster logs. During the practicals, right, if you people can do parallel along with me. Three types of clusters, all purpose, because a lot of configurations will be there, especially in Databricks. In ADF, if you want to perform the task, you can parallelly, you can get the results along with me. If any errors, you'll be sharing the screen in the Zoom. Databricks pools, cluster mode, Databricks utilities, different utilities of Databricks, Databricks integration with different like storage lake, SQL database, Synapse, handling multiple file formats, Databricks batch processing, Databricks streaming, Databricks lakehouse, Delta Lake, Delta tables creations, workflows in Databricks. And later Synapse, so dedicated SQL pools, Apache Spark pools, Azure Synapse analytics to query, Data Lake, Azure storage account integration with Azure Synapse, triggers, incremental load, logging and notifications, Key Vault integration with Azure Logic Apps, data flows introductions, different data flows, different transformations, Scoop pool, Spark pool introduction in Azure Synapse. So totally this Azure Synapse is a combination of this data warehousing, big data analytics, right? Yes. So these things in brief, right, we'll be discussing with many practical examples. So first we'll be starting with this ADF, later will be this ADB, PySpark, and this Azure, right? Even around 3.5 months, the duration of this will be there around 3.5 months it goes. If anybody wants, like if I'm able to spend those much of time, when ADF is going, you can parallelly, if I'm starting any, for any other batch, if I'm starting Databricks, you can attend parallelly, right? You can understand. When ADF is going, right, parallel, you can attend this any of these services which are started in other batches, right? Yes. Want to, otherwise you can go with one after the other, right? Yes.
So Vijay,
And
will you be discussing any monitoring tools here, data monitoring tools, or?
so everything available right here itself, I'll be discussing those.
Oh, okay.
So here, if we talk about the job market, right, according to the Microsoft, right, nearly lakhs of companies are registering in Azure. Fortune 500 companies are utilizing Azure cloud services today. They're in turn increasing the number of job opportunities for Azure data engineers constantly. So even major companies, they're adopting Azure, shifting to Azure, utilizing it, and regularly in need of professionals who work on this Azure and handling this huge data. We talk about the pay scales also, right? Data engineers has got the highest salary packages today, as followed by data scientists. We talk the survey of the global knowledge, right?
Sir, is data engineer, sorry, Azure data engineer more than having salary rather than what is called data scientist?
The both, I'm talking about the top two highest paying jobs today, data scientist and data engineer. The top
Data
two,
engineer, yes.
data scientist, the first one, data engineer.
Yeah, correct.
But
I think,
don't forget today, data scientist is dependent on data engineer today.
correct. It's a,
That
even,
data engineer is not dependent on data scientist.
yeah, because you are giving the data, then here this guy is processing.
Yes. Data engineer is not dependent on anyone, but
Yeah,
data
in my
scientist,
company also having this separate team, so it's consuming our data only. And sir, if you done from your side, so I have the couple of the question.
yes.
So this he have mentioned ADF, right? So ADF is a separate, I think, course, right? It's not
Yes.
because
Yes. In this package, right? In this package, data engineering, total Azure total data engineering, all this you'll be learning. So it's a separate courses here. ADF is a separate course, ADB is a separate course, PySpark is a separate course, Azure Synapse is a separate course. If you go separately, right? So that even the fees, if we discuss, right?
Yes.
6,000, 6,000, 6,000, 6,000. It will be 24,000, right? But as a package, it is given for 12,000, right? The entire course fee is 12,000 for all this.
Okay. So then,
Apart from this four, you'll also you'll be getting the knowledge on this Azure SQL data, like all this, right? So actually, as you said, all these are separate courses, but as a Azure data engineer, you need to have the knowledge about these things. So everything as one package, we are providing you.
because I was inquiring that time, I see some ADF courses launched Durga Soft. So that's why I remember this is a separate course. So,
ADF, Azure Data Factory, there is no coding involved, zero coding.
okay, so Azure ADF is the data factory. It's required for the data engineer. Yeah, it's not this one, ADF.
Everything, all these are the data engineering
Okay.
products or something.
And what the service? What the service are you going to cover in this what's called this class? Means Azure services, which are data engineering related.
All these are the services, right? What I discussed. These are the services, data engineering services, right? Azure SQL data, all these are the services we'll be using. Azure related, right? There,
One second, sir. 1 second.
there are many are there, but for data engineering, these are.
Data engineering related, this are you going to cover? So he's having in the glue or something, because I was just try to understand, no? Glue or some, because Athene in thumb something, right?
Hmm.
That is also you are going to cover.
Yeah. So, no. So those things, no, but these are the mainly things I'm going to discuss, right?
So
Data,
Anthem and data glue is not required for data engineer.
no. Data Factory, Databricks, PySpark. This is what I'm going to discuss.
No, sir. I'm talking about this data engineer related some services. See, why I'm asking this question.
Hmm.
I learned from you AWS, I think.
No. I won't teach AWS.
Oh, might be some other. I think its voice look like the same. That's why. So I already joined the AWS. And that is.
Okay. These are the services, right? We have got Azure has got many services.
Yeah, that time comes in mind.
Azure has got many services. Not I'm saying like
Yes.
data
More
engineer
than.
for this data engineering. These are the services. Each one is a service. ADF is a service. Databricks is a service. Azure
Okay.
Synapse is a service. Azure SQL is a service. That all these are the services.
Yeah.
In
So what?
in our course, mainly these four things will be. But this PySpark, it is an execution model, right?
Yes.
Is
Yeah.
what is
Listen, sir.
PySpark is it's a execution model where total execution happens with this PySpark. Mainly,
Yeah. So
so
what?
if we compare, right, with other training sites and this training site, this is
Mhm.
that what I'll be providing, right? In other
That PySpark, I know. I
this is
having the experience, but not too much. So
so I have
whatever I have means see, I joined the AWS. There that faculty have covered the services, but when I try to work with the data engineering, I try to elaborate. So no one service are required, I think, only except creating the IAM and some machine related.
EMR services will be there. Uh,
Uh,
some EMR related, so their big data related services will be there in AWS. Some different services, right, as compared to this.
Yes, so some services have, but that no, that faculty not cover that data engineering related the services. That's why I asked this question. Are you going to cover the data engineering?
So in brief, what all the Azure data engineering related services, everything in brief, it is going to be covered. So these are the
Okay.
things will be covered,
Eh,
right? And
And
what the industry is expecting, right?
mm,
Industry related, right? What they are totally. If you talk today, like Databricks with PySpark has got a great demand. You can check with that, right? Even
yes.
the if you check the salary packages for this, especially with PySpark.
Yes.
They use the keyword PySpark. If you got in your resume the word PySpark, right? So
Mhm.
it's a hot cake in the market, very high speed processing today.
Yeah.
So today,
No,
if
no,
you
sir.
talk, if you go for big data technologies or anywhere, all this Azure data engineering everywhere, this Spark is the main execution weapon.
Yeah. Okay, sir. So actually, my concern is, okay, are you going to cover all the related services which is required for the data engineer, right?
Yes.
Okay, that is the main my concern because I'm looking only that point because I having the PySpark experience. I having around 6 year into the data engineering field using the
Py-
Scala and
PySpark data. I too discussed weekend batches are there, but PySpark with Python and Spark with Scala batches I'll take.
Okay, no. So I having the Scala with the Apache, sorry, Spark and Java with the Spark, but and PySpark also have the 1 year.
Okay.
So I'm generally looking. My main goal to join here is Azure related, because when I'm currently looking the job, so people are asking, do you have the any cloud experience? So
Okay.
I don't. So
Normal Databricks, Azure Databricks, the difference, we have got some difference, right? Normal Databricks is there, Azure Databricks is there. Normal Databricks is not compatible with all the Azure services, but Azure Databricks is totally compatible with all the Azure storage services.
okay, that's ask this question. Okay, this means are you going to cover all the services which is required for
Uh,
the data engineer?
Normal Databricks, actually Spark is given. Databricks provides cluster, Spark cluster, right?
Yes,
So,
yes, yes.
but it is not compatible with all the Azure services, but Azure Databricks is totally compatible with all these things. Fine.
Oh.
Yes. Tomorrow also everyone can attend the session, same timing,
And sir, you told what is the duration? 3 and some month, right?
3 to 3.5 months it goes.
Okay. And do you have a running parallel ADF? And what is the parallel you are running? Any other?
See, what I say is, if in your batch ADF is running, in any other batch, if I'm starting Databricks, you'll be having a
Yeah.
WhatsApp. See, one thing, I'll be maintaining a WhatsApp group for the direct interaction with the students.
Yeah. That
If,
is good actually,
if
because
that
sometimes.
is from my side, not from DURGASOFT.
Yes.
I'll be creating that WhatsApp group. Not all the other faculties, I don't know, but I'll be creating for if you got any errors, you can take the snap and keep in that group, and any other queries, anything related, right, to this. So whenever I start any new batch in any other batch about a Databricks or this Synapse, right, I'll be intimating. So those who wants to go parallelly or want to complete it faster, they can attend the
Yeah, actually, I
parallel.
want the current, because cover fast, because I'm looking the currently job search, and I finally got the notice period where I started my current company
Mm,
because of no project.
mm.
So that's why I want the complete, learn faster. So only you are going to start this batch, any means currently running like the PySpark, Databricks, Data Factory, whatever.
Many batches are available, but I'll let you know, right?
Okay.
Uh, so, fine. And you'll be getting that every session video you will be getting, right? Even if you miss because of some office timings or office meetings
Yeah, yes,
or
correct.
any other, right?
Yeah,
So
maybe some personal.
daily one video will be added to your Google Drive. You can check in that and you
And
can
what is the validity of that video?
any course in DurgaSoft, it will be valid for 6 months.
Oh, is it 6 months only? Okay, fine.
And later, if you want to extend it, you can discuss with them. You can extend it.
And
And,
yes, sir. Finally, one question actually, that is important. I forget to ask.
mm,
Whatever the services are you covering here, Azure. So that is means for practical purpose is the free, yeah, it's chargeable.
see, okay, Azure is uh, Azure is providing, right, free trial. Azure is providing free trial. Some services are free for lifelong. Some services are free for 1 year. Some
Yeah,
services are free for 1 month. So
yeah. Some maybe for the 10 hours, 10
depending
hour
up,
for.
but I'll let you know, right? Of
Mm,
okay, some services are free for only 1 month, and it's
mm,
providing nearly 16,000 credits to you in your account. You can use it within 1 month.
mm.
Otherwise, they get expired. It is providing you some credits to you, right?
Okay.
And
So means okay.
that credits can be used for different services, right?
So
16.
means if you want to what means all the services, whatever the required for the data engineer, it's free. Maybe 1 month, yeah, maybe 10 hour, right? Like.
So some services you can use for 1 year, some services, but there are some services for only 1 month you will be getting.
Mhm.
Later again, creating one more
Yeah, one
it's
different
one more
term.
free trial and you can work with in that way you can go. Otherwise, with a minimal cost, how you can go it, I'll be discussing. With a very minimal cost, right, in hundreds only, how you
Mhm.
can work with these things.
Yeah,
I'll
it's
be
a dollar is very costly. That's why I'm asking this question.
because especially for this Databricks and this PySpark, right, the charges means especially we will be creating cluster. I'll be clearly intimating, right, just do the work and just delete it, work and delete, right. In such case, if you do, you would
Yes.
won't be charged. It hardly takes 1 or 2 minutes to recreate it, right. So those things I'll be discussing, right, so that very less with a very less charge. Even if the free trial expires, even if you want to go pay as you go with minimal cost, right? Where how you can work. All these things I'll be. So I said you'll be getting the video, every session video. You'll be getting the clear notes of each and everything. And all the sessions will be interactive sessions. During the sessions, anytime, and each and everyone will be responding with what will be the each and every statement by statement, or what we perform the task, right? You will be interacting with me. All the sessions will be interactive. And also I said a WhatsApp group, and some assignments and tasks will be provided, and interview questions, right? All this I'll be providing, right? For this. Any other queries, right, from your side, anyone? Right. And I also said all the will be practical oriented. If you can do parallelly along with me also, all the tasks what I do, right? Yes.
Okay. So sorry, AWF, what is the duration AWF classes?
ADF.
ADF, sorry.
ADF like nearly 40 hours, 40 to 45 hours it will be.
Okay, PySpark. So PySpark. Okay, fine. Okay.
Okay. Fine.
So totally Azure Key Vault, Azure Streaming, Azure Consumable, Databricks, ADF. This is the database services, right? Sorry,
These are the
Azure
main.
services. Azure services. Logging related, sir. How you can see the logs? Are you going to cover that also, no?
Yes, yes.
Because actually, see, why I'm asking, sir, this might be iterating for you. Only I'm looking that parts, right? Because I having almost PySpark database experience, but Web related, sorry, what is cloud related, I don't have. So I'm looking that part because maximum company asking, do you have cloud experience? Cloud experience.
Fine. So all this, right, clear notes will be provided for all this. This is the notes for each and topic wise, right? For each and every batch, I'll be maintaining notes. So the notes will be getting in a clear notepad format. This is for Databricks. Again, for ADF, it is separate. For batch wise, I'll be maintaining these notes, right?
Yeah, I think I have joined not AWS. I think I have joined from Python. 7 a.m. batch.
Okay, so this is what ADF notes. So clear notes will be provided, and this videos will be getting. Any other queries, right, for anyone? Yes. So
From my
tomorrow,
side,
yes.
no, from my side, don't have anything.
Okay, so tomorrow you can join the session, same timing at 9 o'clock. So the same timing will be continued. 9 to 10 will be the session timing. Okay, fine.
And sir, one second, sir, if you go for the Azure, you'll pay 45-day ADF, and PySpark, how many days take? Around that 45.
PySpark, I said remaining things to go for 2 months.
Okay, remaining 2. Okay, fine. Okay, okay, fine.
Okay, fine. So, so total package, I said, right? It's a total package we are going to discuss. So if you go as a package, it will be very less, like only for 12K. You go separately, each one is of 6,000, right?
Are you discussing here the Dynamongi also? Dynamong, something called Dynamic Mongo.
MongoDB.
I don't know. Actually, I was learning this on Azure. So some are telling, this is
Okay. Um, what all that Azure related, whatever the industry expecting, like from Azure data engineering, everything I'll be discussing.
Dynamic Mongo, something people are mentioned. This is also very important.
Yes, yes,
Dynamong, something called.
yes, yes,
Are you covering now?
yes.
Okay, fine. Okay.
Okay, fine. So if I'm done with the queries, if there are no other queries, I'll sign off for now. Meet you tomorrow, same time, right? Yes. We'll be continuing from where we have stopped, right? It's not a duplication or replication for today's session, right?
Okay, fine.
So thank you all for your time. Thank you. Meet you tomorrow.